Hey, this is Kenneth 14621. I want to try to help people break habits. Okay. So I've read a lot of Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud had 157 IQ. Anyways, though, he was a psychiatrist in the 1800s. He is thought of as the father of psychiatry. And what he said was, and I have a few theories that you can test. He said that childhood trauma molds who you will become as an adult. Because what happens in your childhood causes subconscious thoughts. A subconscious thought is something that you are thinking, but you do not know you are thinking. That is why you like the color brown instead of red, and you do not know. It is because there is a thought in your head, and you do not know where it came from. You understand? And it most likely, unequivocally, came from something that happened in your childhood. How to find that? It's impossible. That is why it's important to connect to your roots. But that is difficult for some people because they had a traumatic childhood. See, a childhood thought can bring you joy or sadness. Childhood should be the happiest time of your life. But if you are super depressed when you're a child, well, then it's tough. Not to say that a person like that can't be happy. They just need to look to the future and not the past. But so that is really I'm writing a book on happiness. The progress has slowed, but I probably wrote about 10,000 words within a couple of months or a few weeks. I think it was a few weeks. Anyways, though, so, yeah. Uh, so, uh, breaking habits. So, different people have different habits. There's a physical part to it. Alcohol is addicting, right? But some people can drink alcohol every day and not get addicted to it. But subconscious thoughts. Okay, so let's say you like something and you don't want to like it. Let's say women with brown hair. Well, there's a reason why you like women with brown hair. Probably because someone in your childhood, that you were fond of had brown hair or something like that. But if it's something that you do not like to do, then obviously it was a childhood experience that you did not enjoy. That is why childhood trauma is the key to your happiness. Because whatever you're doing that you do not enjoy is brought about by an experience that you had when you were a child that you did not enjoy. You understand? So there are people who are beautiful and they think they look ugly. It's because someone, when they were a child, told them they were ugly all the time, and it was traumatic. Traumatic experiences in general are very powerful. If like if you walk by a Jolly Rancher, you probably won't remember it. But if you see a massive car wreck, you'll remember it to the day you die because it's a traumatic experience. It's a massive thing that happened. You can make people remember things by traumatic experiences. You know, hit the wall and make a loud, scary noise and then tell someone something. They'll remember it. Okay, so that is the power of trauma. Okay, that's trauma. If anything really big ever happened, you would remember it. Who could ever forget the Twin Towers being bombed? That's because that was a traumatic experience. Now, amplify that by about 10 times and imagine something like that, something very traumatic happening when you're a child. See, that is why people are driven to do certain things because of things that happened when they were a child. And regardless of your IQ, let's say You have, a low IQ, let's say just a regular IQ, let's say 100, but you wind up getting a degree for someone who should have 130 IQ to get. And let's say it's in, this is kind of, I don't know, but let's say it's in, I don't want to say physics, it would have to be something pretty big, but let's say chemistry. Chemistry. Well, let's say you had a parent that was a chemist, or you grew up, you had this strong feeling towards some famous chemist. Well, you could theoretically study so hard your entire life about chemistry that eventually you go to school for that and get that degree. So now do you understand how some people had these huge jobs making a lot of money, but they're not that smart? I realize this. I played a man in chess, and he made about $250,000 a year, and he had this big job, and I defeated him. And I don't make near that much. And all of a sudden, I realize that he loves doing what he does, and he's worked very hard and tried for a very long time to get there. So do you see how understanding childhood trauma can help you be successful in life? If you love something and you've loved it since you were a child, that's what you need to do in some shape, form, or fashion. I played basketball when I was a kid. I was a tall kid, so people made me do things that tall kids do. I'm 6'1". I know I'm not really tall enough to be a professional basketball player, but I love basketball. When I was going for my computer engineering degree, I would go out to the court and play basketball, and people were like, "Why are you out here playing?" Well, you might get injured also. I don't care. I never really got injured. I sprained my ankle a few times, but yeah, because I love to do it. I can hardly even stop myself from doing it. I still play, and I'm 39 years old. Probably not the smartest idea, but since I did it so much when I was a child, it became a habit. Now, some things that you do naturally are productive and some things are not. When you're a child, if you grew up around people that did drugs, but that's why they have all these programs to keep kids off drugs. Because if you do drugs when you're a child, you will be addicted to drugs until the day you die. That's why it's very important, even though it's tough, for a mother not to use drugs when the child is in her womb. They may not wind up on drugs, but they'll always have this urge to do them and not know what that urge is. That may be why a lot of people are depressed and don't know it. So you have people that are born with a high IQ, but they grew up in a rough area. So they have a few bad habits. That's why your childhood is so important. Now, who you are when you're an adult that's your business. You can do whatever you want to. You can. All I'm saying is, when you're depressed, go back and do something that you did when you were a child that you love to do. I like to play chess and stuff like that. I can't remember. I know I don't know. My cousin loved to play chess. He was really good. But, it's just subconscious thoughts control who you are. Now, here's a test you can do. You don't believe in subconscious thoughts? Well, do me a favor. Don't listen to your radio for a few days. I don't know if this works with the new cars, but back in the 90s, I used to do this. Turn your volume all the way down. There was a knob until it sits. If you turn a little bit farther, it'll go off, but turn it to the lowest. See, these new cars, it goes all the way down. But if you were to have an old car and turn it down all the way to the edge, to where it's not off, but it's almost off, you would barely hear the music, but you would not know you were hearing it. And then one day you would be driving around singing a song or thinking of a song. And if you could snap out of that trance and reach up and turn up the knob, you would realize that that song was playing on the radio. and that you are gently hearing it but did not know it. I dare someone to do that, but it would probably take an old radio. But so that is a subconscious thought. They are real. I've been thinking about them. I realized that when I was 17. I got on a computer and I read about subconscious thoughts and I tested it out. And all of a sudden it hit me. I didn't know anything about Sigmund Freud or anything. And then as I got older, at some point, I read about Sigmund Freud. I think it was in my early 30s or maybe it was my late 20s. I don't know. And I read what he said about subconscious thoughts. And that's actually where that came from, I do believe, was Sigmund Freud, subconscious thoughts. Now, you have people in different fields. You have people that are very intelligent that are in the field of physics, and they'll think this is bullshit. But it's not. It's a fact. Well, I mean, a physicist would probably believe it, but you have people that are very good at one thing but don't believe things about other things. So really, pretty much everybody is like that. But so there you go. So that is one of the keys to your happiness. All right. Thank you very much.